was out with my chickens today, and I was chasing them out of my strawberry pool, and I found these. So I guess my strawberries are growing. I didn't think they were. So I think I'm going to root around. I see some flowers. I'm going to root around in here and see what I come up with. I'm going to have to somehow probably find a way to screen this over because the birds last year ate all my strawberries, so I want to be sure that I can at least get a couple of those. And while I got you out here, I'll show you what else I have going. This is where I've planted my kind of like winter vegetables. I planted some seeds. I've been planting seeds since September, and got a lot going on right now, so this is all screened in. My husband made a frame and we put some bird netting on it, and there's a couple panels of plastic over it too. We had a lot of rain here a few days back, and I didn't want my new seedlings to get drowned, so I threw some plastic on there and clipped it up so that they wouldn't get too wet. And then on there I put some plastic up so that it would kind of protect them from the rain also. I just haven't taken it down because we're supposed to get some more rain tomorrow. And from what I understand, it's going to turn cold here. Of course, cold for us is like 45 degrees for a low. I may throw some beach towels or something over my small plants just to be sure that they're safe. But I'm going to make my way into the netting and I'll show you what's going on in there. Alright, right here I've planted some watermelons, and they're pretty small still, but they're growing. Now this is basically the first time I've planted right into the soil in this bed. We built it last year, and we've been trying to soften up the soil because it's really hard dirt right here, so we're doing the best we can. We mulched it or composted it all last summer and through the winter. So I'm just trying my hand at planting some plants in there just to see how they do. And then over here, I've got some purple hulled beans, I think they're called. I just threw some seeds down in there, and they basically came up really quick, and I tied some jute string to one of the braces overhead, put some wood down to try and give them some place to climb up, and it seems like they're doing it. It looks like they are starting to weave their way around the plant or the string. And then this is my catnip. Heard good things about catnip and bugs, so I'm trying it out. I've got 2 there, and I've got a couple in my tomato plants. So, and then this is some squash. Never been able to grow a squash here, but gonna see what we can do. Put a whole packet of seeds down there, and looks like most of them came up, and we shall see if I get a squash. I would be so happy with just one. So let me move on over and I'll show you some more. This is my container of mixed greens. There are 4 different types of greens in here. I know this is black-seeded Simpson, but I don't recall what the other ones are. But those are growing really nice. I'm going to start trimming those up and making some salads. And then over here, this is an eggplant with a big weed in it. Don't recall what kind of eggplant this is. I think it's a Japanese eggplant of some sort with the thin fruits, because I've tried to grow eggplant here on my tree in the corner. I'll show you in a minute. I've had a plant planted since springtime. Blossoms beautifully, but never develops any fruit. So I'm hoping the littler eggplants might do a little better. This is a jalapeno plant that I planted from seeds that I harvested from some jalapenos last year. And just wanted to see if they would work, if they would grow, and looks like they did. Now the plant is not getting anywhere near as big as the plant last year did, but it's got a few jalapenos on it, so I can't be complaining about that. This is some Swiss chard. My chickens absolutely love Swiss chard, and as soon as they see me coming out here with some scissors, they're all over it. All they want is some Swiss chard. Now this beautiful plant is sweet pea. I planted last summer 1 or 2 little seeds of some sweet peas, and they grew, but nowhere near as healthy as these. And I took a couple of the pods and just threw the peas back into the dirt. I did it probably with 3 or 4 of the pods, just because it wasn't enough to eat. So I thought, well, I will go ahead and see what happens if I just throw these peas in there. And this plant is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure how many are in there, but there's lots of blossoms, and there are a few pods on here I saw yesterday. Here's one over here, and you can just feel the little peas coming. There's a nice one right here. Not quite ready, but hopefully they'll get there. So I'm real pleased with that one. This here is my eggplant that I was telling you about. Lots of blossoms all year long, but never developed any fruit. Now it's covered with those pollen pods right now, and that's what all the brown spots on it are. It's really, really a healthy looking plant, but everything out here is covered with pollen pods right now. These are some radish that I planted. My chickens like the greens on that too. And then over there is some basil that's coming up. Just harvested a little bit of seed from a plant I had last year and seems to be reproducing. So let me head over to the other side. This is another bucket of Swiss chard. I do have to say they had eaten all of this and it's coming back now, so this stuff does grow well. It never gets to get pretty big. They're already coming running over here trying to get some, but they really like it a lot. They jump up and try and grab it right out of my hands, so that's a good thing to grow for me. And then this is a tomato plant. It's Rutgers. There were 2 in there, and I got 2 tomatoes off the first vine, but then it died. Something got a hold of it, so I pulled that out. And then this is the second one that was in there. I don't see any buds or any kind of flowering on that yet, so I'm not sure if it's going to do anything. I'll be glad to get this plastic off of the top so it can move around and get some sun. But this is some sort of little salad pepper. I'm not really sure how I ended up with this plant, but I believe it was a plant from the spring that died off, and these just started growing in there, so I thought, well, I'll just start watering them and see what happens. So there's one that's orange over here and green. There was a yellow one on there. I pulled that off and ate it. But those are some little sweet peppers. Now this was a stevia. I don't know what happened. It died, but it looks like it's got a couple pods on the end. I'm going to let them go and see if I can get a little bit of seed out of that. This here is some amaranth that I'm trying to grow. See if my chickens will eat that. I only planted a couple seeds because I wasn't really sure how it would grow, so I just threw some in a pot just to see what would happen, and they look like they're growing okay. And then next to that is some millet. That looks like it's getting some heads on it. Again, growing that for the chickens, see if they'll like that. Some cilantro. And then this, I'm not sure what that is, but there were some little black seeds in the oats that we got for our chickens, and figured, well, what the heck, we'll throw them in here and see what happens. Well, this is what happens, and I mean, they're growing well. They look healthy, so just gonna let those go too and see what happens with those. Now this is my yellow pear tomato, and I have a catnip in that also. We took one off of here the other day, and it looks like one more is ripe. Lots of buds, lots of flowers. This branch looks like it's dying for some reason. My luck with tomatoes, I have no luck at all with tomatoes. But I'm persistent, and someday it'll pay off, I'm sure. So that's a nice looking plant there on that side. Again, after the rain tomorrow, I'm going to get this plastic off of here. So anyways, this is another Japanese eggplant, and it has a little bud on it. So hopefully I'd be happy to get an eggplant. I would really be happy to get an eggplant. It's one of my favorite things. This is Cherokee purple tomato with a catnip in there. Lots of flowers, and we got a little tiny tomato going there. And then there's a little tiny tomato on here. So, got a couple going on there. Hopefully, never tasted a Cherokee purple tomato, so I'm really hoping that those finish growing so I can taste one. And then over there on the end, I have some carrots just growing. Threw some seed down just to see what would happen. We don't eat a lot of carrots, but figured the chickens would eat them if we don't, so checking to see if I could grow them. And well, that's about it. I just really wanted to show you guys my strawberries because I was really excited. I didn't think that was going to work out, but I was really happy to see those strawberries in there today. So now I got to work on getting some bird netting on there before the sun goes down, just try and keep the birds out. So, well, just wanted to update you guys. I'm going to be planting, I have a lot of seedlings planted, 3 different kinds of tomatoes, a couple kinds of peppers, and this weekend I'm going to try, well, probably not this weekend because it's going to be cooler, but I have some more seeds I want to plant directly into this raised bed garden. So, got a lot going on. I'm determined that I am going to grow myself some food. So, besides lettuce, I can grow lettuce. So, hope you guys are doing well, and thanks for watching.